They brutally attack an innocent girl. Their plan was perfect apart from the fact her mother sniper was ready to falter every bit of their notorious plan on that day. Welcome back to Paramount Recapped. I don't have many subscribers, but your single comment is a ray of hope to motivate me.
I hate you!
So, the story kicks off with this woman who's just called the Mother. She's not your average person, used to be in the military, and not just any soldier either. She was a top-tier sniper, the kind of person who could hit a moving target from super far away. She had serious skills, and her boss at the time, some guy named Adrian, picked up on that real quick. He thought she'd be a great asset for whatever shady stuff he was into and tried to recruit her into his own private operation. At first, things seemed normal, but then she started to get the feeling something was off about Adrian. Turned out the guy wasn't just a big shot. He was also deep into some really dirty business. He was dealing weapons under the table, and not just to anyone, but to dangerous people. She wasn't okay with that, not even a little bit. So she said no to working with him. After that, she got reassigned to another military base, somewhere remote and quiet. But that's where it all started to unravel. While working at this new place, she finds out that Adrian's partner, Hector Alvarez, is also knee-deep in this illegal arms mess. He's been sneaking weapons off the base for who knows what. With that in mind, and needing to save some cash for her future, she signs up for a mission, one of those side gigs where she can earn extra. What complicates things is she's romantically tangled up with both Adrian and Hector. Yeah, messy stuff. Things go from bad to worse when she realizes these two aren't just pushing weapons, they're trafficking people too. That's the last straw for her. She's sickened by the whole thing and decides to do something about it. She contacts an old friend, William, who just so happens to work for the FBI. She wants to help bring these monsters down. Right around this time, she finds out she's pregnant. So now, not only is she caught up in this giant illegal operation, but she's got a baby on the way. William asks for her help to expose Adrian and Hector's dark little empire, and even though she's cautious, she agrees. She tries to warn the FBI to act fast, telling them Adrian's probably already onto them. But the agents brush her off, thinking she's just paranoid. Turns out, she was absolutely right. Adrian and his goons storm the place they're hiding out. William gets shot in the chaos, and things go south real fast. But the mother, quick on her feet, manages to keep William alive by patching up his wound. She knows she's running out of options, so she locks herself in a bathroom and whips up a makeshift bomb using nothing but candles. Pure resourcefulness. Adrian finds her hiding spot, and she shoots his hand to slow him down. He still tries to get to her, and just when it seems like he's got the upper hand, her DIY bomb goes off. Boom. Chaos everywhere. But somehow through all of that, the FBI shows up just in time. Not only does she survive the blast, but she gives birth to her baby girl right there in the middle of it all. It's nothing short of a miracle. But things don't calm down after that. The FBI doesn't think it's safe for her to be around her own kid. They're worried Adrian and Hector might still come after them, and think the mother could attract danger. So, they decide that William, the same guy who almost died, will take care of her daughter. It's heartbreaking for her. She wants nothing more than to be with her baby, but she agrees, knowing it's the only way to keep the little girl safe. To make it worse, they tell her Adrian's body was never found after the explosion. That means he could still be alive, and that's not something she can ignore. With a heavy heart, she writes a letter to William, begging him to keep her posted about the baby's life. She watches from a distance as her daughter is taken away and then disappears off the grid. She ends up in Alaska, in this cold, remote wilderness, with only a guy named Johns to help her out. They pretend not to know each other, just to stay off the radar. She settles into this tiny house in the woods, surrounded by snow and silence. For the next 12 years, she trains herself to live off the land. She becomes a survival expert, relying on her sniper skills to hunt and keep herself alive. Every now and then, John sends her letters, always with photos of her daughter, who's now named Zoe. The pictures show Zoe growing up, happy and safe. But then one day, there's no photo, just a note with a weird appointment location. Right around the same time, she finds out Hector has somehow learned who Zoe really is. That's enough to set off every alarm in her mind. The mother doesn't waste any time. She knows Zoe is in danger, and if she waits too long, Hector might take her. She heads straight to the place mentioned in the note, where William is waiting. He tells her that the FBI busted a bunch of Hector's guys and found a photo of Zoe during the raid. That's when she realizes things just got real. From a distance, she sees Zoe with her adoptive family, looking happy. But watching from the sidelines stings. It's a weird mix of pride and pain. The next day, while she's still keeping an eye on things, she spots a suspicious van nearby. Sure enough, Hector's men are there to snatch Zoe. The mother jumps into action and manages to take down one of the kidnappers. But in all the chaos, Zoe gets taken anyway. And now her own cover is blown. She hides under a car, but is eventually found. Still, she doesn't give up. She fights back and manages to take down another one of Hector's men before the cops arrive. Just when things get tight, William shows up and helps her escape. That night, the FBI agents regroup at Zoe's home to plan how to get her back. The mother finally steps into her daughter's room for the first time. It's emotional, overwhelming. She traces the kidnappers to Cuba, and together with William, she sets off to get her daughter back. Once they land in Cuba, they get a lead on the guy who took Zoe, some goon named Gonzalez. After a bit of tracking, they find him and corner him, but the guy is slippery and manages to run. She goes after him, catches up eventually, and throws him in the trunk of a car. No more Mr. Nice Guy. She gets the information she needs from Gonzalez, finally learning where Zoe's being held. Without wasting a second, she and William race off to get her back. She's done waiting around. It's time to take the fight straight to Hector. She's back in sniper mode now, perched and laser-focused like in her old days. One by one, she quietly takes out every single guard Hector has posted around his base. No alarms, no screaming, just clean and efficient takedowns. The place goes from heavily guarded to eerily quiet real fast. Now that the coast is clear, she slips inside. For the first time ever, she comes face to face with Zoe, the daughter she gave up years ago to protect. It's a wild moment, a flood of emotions for her, but she doesn't let it slow her down. She grabs Zoe and makes sure she's safe first. But even after rescuing her, she doesn't just rush out the door. Nope, she still has one more thing to take care of. Instead of escaping, she walks back into the danger zone. She's not done until Hector is. Turns out, the guy was expecting her, armed to the teeth, and clearly ready to finish what he started. But she catches him a little too relaxed and charges in, landing a brutal attack. She goes full force, stabbing him repeatedly until he's down and can't fight anymore. While he lies there in pain, she tells him straight up she won't let him go out like a cowardly animal. Just to drive the message home, she lights his whole operation on fire, burning his base to the ground. It's her way of putting an end to everything he stood for. Once Zoe is safe, William, the FBI guy who's been helping all along, takes her back to the only family she's ever known, her adoptive parents. Meanwhile, the mother prepares to disappear again and head back to her quiet life in the wilderness. But Zoe isn't ready to let go just yet. She starts picking up on clues, slowly putting the pieces together. Something about the woman who just saved her feels familiar. Deep down, she realizes this stranger might actually be her real mom. She tries to ask, looking for answers, but the mother keeps her lips sealed. No confirmations, no emotional reunion, just a cold goodbye and a quick exit. Still hungry for the truth, Zoe turns to William. She pushes him for info about the mysterious woman who saved her life. But even he doesn't spill much. It's a dead end, and Zoe is left with more questions than answers. But just when it seems like they're heading back to normal life, everything explodes, literally. Adrian, the guy everyone thought was long gone after the earlier explosion, suddenly reappears like a ghost. Turns out he never died. Not only is he alive, but he's been planning revenge all along. He causes a huge car crash by slamming into William's vehicle at high speed, try to capture Zoe. It's a setup. Adrian's using her as bait to draw the mother out one last time. Thankfully, the mother isn't far behind. She shows up just in time to stop Adrian's men from taking Zoe. The situation is a mess. Adrian's goons are everywhere, and William's badly hurt. Outnumbered and with limited options, the mother pulls off a risky move. She finds a car that's already damaged and rigged it to blow, causing a distraction big enough for her and Zoe to slip away. They hide out for a bit in a little roadside cafe to regroup. Zoe, now totally overwhelmed and confused by everything going on, turns to the woman again and begs for answers. But once again, the mother can't bring herself to explain everything. There's just too much darkness in her past. She figures Zoe's still too young to understand all of it. Not wanting to waste time, the mother grabs a cheap used car and decides to head back to her cabin in Alaska. But before they vanish, she calls Zoe's adoptive mom to explain what's going on. She tells her Zoe can't come home just yet. It's too dangerous. Once they're deep in the frozen Alaskan wilderness, things shift. Zoe's thrown into a whole new way of living. Hunting, surviving, staying off the grid. One of the first things they do is go after a deer for food. But Zoe's not into it. The idea of killing animals for meals shakes her up a bit. She's used to grocery stores, not rifles and field dressing. The next day, the mother steps into teacher mode. She shows Zoe how to shoot a gun, how to drive in emergencies, basic survival stuff. Zoe, still struggling with this totally new world, reaches a breaking point. She grabs an air rifle and turns on her mother in frustration, demanding to go home. But the mother handles it calmly, taking the rifle from her and letting her know this isn't about what she wants. It's about staying alive. Seeing how tense things are getting, the mother tries to include Zoe in more activities, hoping it'll ease the tension between them. She teaches Zoe how to plant perimeter traps and mines in the forest to keep them safe from intruders. Slowly, Zoe starts to warm up to the idea. Their bond begins to grow. Eventually, the mother even gives her a real weapon, just in case someone tries to take her again. But the peace doesn't last. One morning, Zoe disappears. Panic sets in. The mother searches the forest until she finally finds Zoe playing with wolf pups. Cute at first, but things turn dangerous when one of the cubs bites Zoe's hand. The mother rushes her to a nearby clinic. During the visit, Zoe blurts out her real name to the doctor, not realizing how risky that is. It could lead Adrian straight to them. The mother knows they're compromised now. She makes a tough call and decides to leave Zoe with Johns, her old war buddy and trusted friend. Before leaving, she gives him a sealed letter meant for Zoe, one that finally tells the truth. She is her biological mother. As feared, Adrian isn't far behind. He and his men show up in Alaska, and Johns warns the mother that they're closing in fast. While Johns gets Zoe ready to leave, Zoe discovers the letter and reads it. Everything clicks into place. Without telling anyone, she takes John's car and races back toward the cabin, hoping to help her mother. Back at the cabin, the fight is on. Adrian's guys launch a full-on attack. But the mother is no amateur. She uses the forest to her advantage, setting traps and picking them off one at a time. She listens in on their radio chatter and realizes Adrian spotted Zoe driving toward them. Time is running out. She bolts toward the road, and just in time too, Zoe crashes into a tree. The mother pulls her from the wreck and gets them both up into a tall tree to hide and get a better view of the attackers. As they're watching, things suddenly escalate again. A red laser sight locks onto Zoe's head. Adrian, cold and ruthless as ever, demands the mother surrender or he'll pull the trigger. With no real choice, she gives in and confronts Adrian directly. What follows is a brutal, no-holds-barred brawl. In the middle of the fight, Zoe climbs down and tries to help. Armed with nothing more than her air rifle, she fires at them, managing to disrupt the fight enough to give her mom a chance. But in the chaos, both Adrian and the mother get hit and go down. Barely clinging to life, the mother bandages herself up and pushes through the pain. Adrian tries to escape with Zoe, but she refuses to let him win. With one last act of strength, she grabs her sniper rifle and puts an end to it, shooting Adrian and rescuing Zoe for good. Days later, after everything is finally calmed down, the mother makes one of the hardest choices of her life. She knows Zoe would rather stay with her, but for Zoe's safety, she brings her back to her adoptive family. It's a bittersweet moment, but it's what's best. Though they're separated again, the mother doesn't vanish completely. From the shadows, hidden but always nearby, she keeps watching over Zoe, silent but never far away.